So my truck has a ton of really bad rust down here. It's impressively bad. And all along the bottom. It's not so bad on this door, but the back doors are pretty bad. Yeah, so I'm going to try and sand this all up and paint it and hopefully clean it up today. I just brought it back from the car wash, which is probably not the best idea in hindsight. Now everything's soaking wet, so I'm probably going to have to hit everything with the heat gun. After I'm going to sand it all up and probably heat gun it or hit it with the torch or something to try and dry it, because one of the worst things you can do is trap moisture under the paint. When you're trying to clean up rust, that's the worst thing you can do. And also painting with like a porous kind of paint or not sealing it properly, it's just that's probably the worst thing you can do. When people just spray bed liner over it and call it good, that you just give it a good home to live in. It's awful. So what I've bought here is I'm gonna hit it with, I might hit it with this thing, this abrasive disc. It's pretty cool. It cleans metal up really well. But I got some Scotch-Brites. I've got a big, huge wire wheel, which I wish I had some kind of guard system, but I've got big gloves because if you've never used one of these spit these wires out. Like they just fray off and go flying. And you know, I knew a guy who got one stuck in his hand, like it stuck into his knuckle, and he had to go to the hospital because it swole up after a few days, and then it was just a nightmare for them to try and get that out. So try to wear gloves, and you know, when you're using these wire wheels, just always wear eye protection, because man, those waits at the hospital, god, you're gonna be there for like 4 hours bored out of your mind with a sore eyeball. Bought a cup, another cup, and this weird kind of, it's not flat, somewhat cupped disc, so that should be really good for getting along all the bottom edge down there. It should be hopefully good. I don't know what I did with my guard, but this is my garbage grinder. Don't use like a nice grinder on this project, obviously, because it's just a waste. I don't want to ruin my Milwaukee grinder. But so anyways, I bought this self-etching primer. This isn't, I don't know that this is really the best stuff. Like, I'm not recommending this at all, but I was in Canadian Tire for a long time trying to find something, and I read it enough that when you look at the back, somewhere here it says that you've got to, basically you have to seal it. So after you use this primer, you have to use sealer. There's some primer that you can use that you can leave on and drive your truck, and it's sealed so it's not going to let moisture in, but this stuff will definitely let moisture in and cause more rust to happen, so you're worse off. Worse off than just leaving it bare metal potentially. So I'm gonna use this, and then look at this thing. I found the turbo can, so I'm gonna use the freaking turbo can on the sealing that, and then so what I'm gonna use is rock guard over everything, and which looks pretty good. It's just like bed liner, right? And that should really protect it from, I do a lot of driving on FSRs and just logging roads, right? Hopefully that looks good. And this thing has a fan on it that's just huge. Apparently I've seen a lot of cool videos. 3 times faster turbo spray. Yeah, so that should be cool. And yeah, I got my heat gun, got my acetone to wipe it all down, and some gloves, and of course I got the Mountain Dew. So I hit it with the grinder with the wire wheel on it, and hit it with just the tip just for a second, and that just went right through. It is toast. kind of making me question this whole project, if I should just be buying cab corners or what, because that's... Honestly though, maybe I could just shove a hose in there and wash it out now. Because you can't clean the damn things. We'll see. I'm gonna hit it with the wire wheel, see how much I can get off and what it turns out. I'll turn the camera back on in a minute. So this small project is, as usual with everything I do, turning into a really, really big project. I'm not really sure what I'm gonna do about this, but it's worse than I had thought. It's a pretty decent sized piece of truck here. So I don't know. I don't really want to cut this out and replace it, and that's gonna take a lot longer. This was only ever meant to be a band-aid fix though, but this band-aid fix is starting to feel like it could be a waste of time. I mean, it's very obvious it's a waste of time, but do I waste my time? I mean, on the upside, like on one side I could at least paint the outside. No, because yeah, what I was thinking was, because if all I really wanted to do is match this black and get, like, clean up the rust and clean up this rust and paint it black. I really didn't think it was gonna have eaten through from the inside out that bad. Right, I assumed it was probably gonna only last like maybe a few years or whatever, but anyways, if I paint this and I have to redo this, it's probably not gonna match later maybe. These are tough decisions on what to do. I mean, dang. Alright, so I've got a little bit of an idea here. It's not great, and in risk of looking like a total hack, which I might be sometimes, I don't really want to fix this correctly. I don't know. Not sure that I care. It's a nice truck, but, you know, is there a fix for this kind of problem? Is it just going to happen again? Am I just covering up a fucking issue? I don't know. But anyhow, so you should be able to see this. Sorry, it's a little blurry because, you know, but slip-on rocker panel fits 02 to 08, and just here on eBay you can get those or get these. This is, well, 200 Canadian plus $90 shipping, so it's kind of balls. I don't really know that I like this style. This might be the same as the other ones though. But so my idea is that I'm just going to, if you ever used PL, like construction glue, just PL those bastards on here, clean this up, paint it, PL them on, and then clean this up and paint it, and then PL one on, and then maybe I'll just smooth the edge, or maybe I won't do any of that, and then I'll just paint this all. So unfortunately that might be all for today. I don't really know what to do here, whether, I don't know if it's going to make any difference if I cover this up with any paint or not. Probably not.